bump. It's all under control, I promise. It's all under control. I've been hours preparing for this and everything is running like clockwork. So that's the main thing. Right. Right, hello. Yes, hello, right. Okay, yes. Pull yourself together, man. Oh, you know how it is. You're just fiddling about and then suddenly he goes, oh my god, it's 8 o'clock. And I had to run off and grab some beers and stuff. Very boring beers to see. I'm afraid it's just Corona. That's all I've got knocking about. Or rather, I have too much of this, so I have to drink some of it. So let's start with that then, shall we? Hello, welcome. This is Molten Music Technology. I'm Robin. We're here to talk about synthesizers, modular, have a bit of a play about stuff, talk about, I don't know, the music industry, wars, who knows? Could be politics, might not be. Could be all sorts of things, who knows. Please bring your thoughts and questions and queries to the chat and I'll more than happy talk about any old rubbish you want to talk about. I have no lime. No, I have nothing. I'm just raw Corona. There's no sophistication here, I'm afraid. But hey, we got through another month. Bypass. Buy your bypasses. If you don't have a bypass, you should have a bypass. Here's a bypass. I'm just going to place it over there. Yes, another month has rocketed by and we had Superbooth in between, which was very exciting. Very exciting. I had a good, exhausting time and but it was good. It was good to see people. It was good to chat and just to be there and soak up a bit of the vibe. I did a little bit of work. I did. I looked at a couple of synths and spoke to people. It's one of those things where you could almost look at anything. In fact, I mean, I think I did a couple of times because you kind of get you get in synth show mode, where you just kind of shuffle along to the next thing. You stare at something for about 30 seconds and then somebody asks you if you're all right and you go, yeah, all right, so tell me about your thing. And then they spend the next 10 minutes telling you about their thing and you're just sort of nodding and going, oh, and then you're on to the next thing and you do the same and repeat and repeat and repeat. And it's kind of interesting at the same time as it's kind of a bit weird. Do you really take any of that in? But amongst all of that stuff, because everything is ultimately interesting and the person telling you about it is completely enthused about the thing that they're telling you about. And so you absorb that as you go around and generally feel like everything is pretty wonderful, which I guess it is. So that was that was part of my experience. I mean, there were so many people I didn't get to see, and this is why I've been thinking about next year, if I do it for real, like actually go to the whole thing, I could theoretically speak to everyone. I could go to every stand and find out about their thing. I mean, is that worthwhile, or does that really just result in a complete obliteration of bafflement? I don't know. Maybe that would be interesting. Maybe I'll just sit around and drink. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know. Anyway, so hello. You're very welcome here if you've not been here before. We just chat about stuff. We hopefully make a little bit of music. I've got a few modules to try out today. Some bits and pieces that might be fun, you know. So we might get into that. We try to hold it together under about 2 hours if we can, because, you know, Jason Jervis is in his gym jams at 10 o'clock, so you better go and see that, I think. So that is generally the way the evening tends to pan out, and I'm very much distracted by the chat, which is great. But let's say hello to a few people. I think there was some argument over who got here first. I think it was Jeff was here first. Followed by Matt. Good to see you, Matt. I miss you on Twitter, man. I really do. I'm not quite sure where to stumble into you these days. I saw you on Threads, I think, recently, but I'm just not on there as much. I keep trying to Threads and to Blue Sky. I'm just not finding that very satisfying at the moment. Whereas Twitter is just always a dumpster fire, and that's I find that entertaining. But hey, I'm just checking in case anybody's saying anything like, we can't hear you or see you. No, okay, all right, I'll go back to the topic again then. What was I saying? Yeah, Matt, yes, good to see you. We need to have a conversation about important things sometime soon. Ken, always good to see you. Ken was the first recipient of one of my new cups from my Etsy store. I don't know whether it's going to last very long, Etsy store. I don't know who anybody else enjoys doing merch. It's something that I could easily spend my entire time doing and be completely assured of not ever selling a thing. But I really enjoy the process of putting together a product in that concept that, oh wow, this is going to be brilliant and everyone's going to have one, and it will in the end make a whole load of money, but it never seems to. But Ken, well done, congratulations on having a mug, and I'm very pleased with that. Also sold a couple of t-shirts, which is very, very exciting, and I absolutely do want to do more of that. It's just I didn't understand the Etsy way of doing things, and you suddenly find yourself all your products have been discontinued because nobody's buying it. Or you haven't paid them again, and you've got to keep paying Etsy to keep your stuff there, which just seems weird to me. Anyway, so I'd like to say I'm investigating that to see what's the best way to do with that sort of thing, but that would suggest that I was actually looking into it, which I'm not. Of course, I'm just letting things roll as I normally do. Wagyu, good to see you. Ian, Tonal Axis Modular. I have your things over there, sitting over there. I can see it right from here. Mr. Kazaki. Jay, Kraken, lots of people in tonight. That's great to see you. Nick, good. Maths, this is really lovely. Lovely to see you all. Dots, of course. You already taught me about the lime thing. Not going to mention everyone, but it's lovely to see you all. Thanks ever so much for coming along. Yeah, it's odd in some ways that you can't buy anything at the event, although at Superbooth we're talking about. Although it takes some of the pressure off, I think. It takes a level of anxiousness away from the exhibitors, that they're not having to deal with money or with stock or with holding stuff. I mean, the security is always an issue. There have been issues this year, sadly. A whole bunch of stuff got stolen this year, which is very, very, very sad to hear, because we like to operate in this world of the synthesizer community where we all are just lovely people, which is, you know, the majority of the times absolutely true. But sadly, when it's not and someone is just horrible, it really shatters, I think, the sense that we can just do stuff and it's okay, because we have to then start looking after each other and looking after ourselves and looking after our gear. And once you start going down that road of suspicion and security and all that sort of thing, it makes everything far more difficult. So in some ways, it's not just the stuff being stolen, it's the fact that everything's going to have to be tighter and harder and more difficult in order to keep everything and everyone safe. And that drives me nuts. You know, I love the idea that it's like I love the idea of being able to send something out to people and it not get destroyed by couriers or stolen, you know. Wouldn't it be a world if that was the case? But it's not. So we have to wrap all our stuff in endless packaging and keep everything, make sure you take photos of everything and record everything, you know. So our lives just get more difficult as soon as somebody steps out and becomes an arsehole and tries to do something bad. It makes it worse for everyone. By the by, though, I'm not feeling that just at the moment. I'm feeling very, very up, if a little bit warm. Trousers? What's all the crowns that people have? What does that mean in the chat? Does anybody know what that means? Have I not been keeping up? I don't know what that means. Maybe it's a person who's made the most things. Experience? I don't know. But maths is all over it. Although Earthly Doctor's just popped up and now he's number one. What does it mean? Is it some kind of game? No, Dots, you don't have one. Wow, that's weird. Is it a late night here? No, it's about 8 o'clock. Are you talking to me? Yes. Yeah, I get a lot of random garbage these days. I mean, Instagram kept insisting that I add music to my photos recently, and I can't seem to get past that at the moment. Let alone Microsoft continuously trying to insist that I install, or use rather, Edge all the time. It's getting very annoying. So anyway, here we are. Let's not get down those things. You'll be in Norwich tomorrow? Wow, fantastic. Are you gigging or are you just coming for a look around? Where are we now? 2nd of June. Half term's over. What possible reason could anyone have for coming to Norwich? Thank you, Kent. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I seem to go down a little bit of a what's the word? Slightly cynical line on my Molten Monthly this month. And it's not because I don't like everything. I do. I like and love everything all the time. It just kind of felt there's a few products I remember overhearing other people talking about, because I've been on a couple of live streams about Superbooth, post Superbooth live streams, and listening to people talk about their favourite products, and some of them just really were not really floating my boat. And sometimes I think we can get a little bit far too much in awe and enamoured by the newest, most likely sparkly things. But I mean, that's okay. It's okay. We just need to slap ourselves sometimes, remind ourselves that it's just gear and synths and stuff, and most of it is awesome, and some of it is a little bit just more all right. You know, that's all right. That will please some people. I mean, a good example, excuse me, is the AR110 that I've reviewed. I've just posted my review videos, which ended up not being. I mean, I did this review like over a week ago, and I did it kind of in a bit of pressure in order to get it finished for the Kickstarter deadline, which ended up being delayed for a week. So I had all these done a week ago, then it only just launched yesterday. But anyway, it's a bit of a splitting of opinion type thing. And when I first received it, I plugged it in and went, oh, I can't plug it in. It doesn't have any CV inputs. I thought all these were CV inputs, but no. So I had to dust off my KeyStep Pro and go, right, how do I use this again in order to try to do MIDI? Because this is a MIDI box of drum sounds. And it really made me scratch my head, and I thought I'm going to struggle reviewing this, because my first thoughts are going to be, well, it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that and I can't do that. So I had to sort of sit down with it for a while and think through, okay, so who is this for? And I sort of sent a couple of emails back to the guy at Amatech, just sort of softly, gently saying, so why doesn't it have any pitch control, decay control envelopes of any kind, velocity, CV, or anything? And he said, well, it's just a MIDI box for people who run MIDI stuff and want some analog sounds. There you go, analog sounds. And after a little while of trying to get the price out of him, then it sort of made sense. Had this been $299, it would have been, yeah, no, I don't really think so. But the fact that it's like $130 and it's it's a drum kit of analog sounds, analog circuitry with individual outputs, then that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent, assuming that you're a person who just wants the sounds. I mean, of course, the commentary in the review, in the comments, is very much, oh yeah, but I want to change the pitch. Why wouldn't I want to tune the kick drums? I don't know. Why would you want to tune the kick drum? Who tunes kick drums? Everybody in the chat then goes, I tune kick drums. Of course you do. Of course you do. It has never occurred to me to tune a kick drum. Kick drum is a flipping kick drum. It's percussion. I don't tune percussion. I bash percussion, for heaven's sake. I've got enough trouble keeping everything else in tune, let alone having to tune the flipping kick drum. Anyway, so what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to say that I could easily have written a poor review of this, saying it doesn't have all this stuff, but instead I was able to sort of step inside the sort of place of people who would find this interesting, and then talk about the reasons why it exists. And I think that's interesting. I mean, listening back to my review now, I could have been a little bit more critical. I could have put some alternative views in, I think, but I was just kind of happy to find the space where this would work, and I can definitely see that. And setting up my little MIDI studio as I did here was quite good fun. I have to say, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that very much, and can see how something like this, as simple as this, I mean, I've often talked about why don't we have more simple, if you're running a DAW, if you're running software, having essentially software synths but in analog circuitry, because what I like about this is that it's always going to work. It's not going to need an update. You're not going to start it up and it go, oh, I'm sorry, this is out of date, you need to refind your iLock, or you need to reauthorize something. It's a box of sounds that's always going to work, and I've always found that quite attractive. Even if it doesn't even have a front panel, just a box that will always generate the sounds, I think is useful. Anyway, blah 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 blah. I hope that's some additional context. I'm just going to place it there because that's now where it lives. Can you hear the seashell? Yes, I'm going to get to that. What I have this evening to show is I've got the Bop and Steve, which is a deconstructed reverb. I mean, when I say show, I'm going to attempt to plug some things in to see if we can get any sound. I do have the Zurak thing. Look, what I could do, right, if I'm clever, I could swap to some other thing. Is that a thing? Yeah, look at that. Hang on. Oh, it's just so flipping pro sometimes. Look at that. I really shouldn't point it out, though. I should do it seamlessly without you ever knowing that I've just found a right button. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, talking about this. Look, so you can see my hands. This is a little bit, I could probably, what I need to do is just, but then you can see the seashell, you see. All right, a little bit. Yeah, that's not too bad. So things I got to look at today, and I literally, this is the first time I've plugged them in. So the Bop and Steve, perhaps, put something through that. It's weird, isn't it? You know, the Queen of Pentacles probably. This over here is this Dick Tack. Probably never going to say that right. I don't know if you recall the story, is that I was using the pink Detroit 87, the Detroit Pink 87. I don't know. I was using this button, which was creating a whole bunch of triggers, and I was using that to run drums and to run gating and envelopes, all that kind of thing. It was great. I loved it. You just tapped it, tap, 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 and it sent that out and looped around. Fantastic. Now this from Zurak, this over here, is apparently even better. Now I've pressed it a couple of times and I've moved this slider. Other than that, I don't know how to use it. So we might have a look at that and see whether we can get that working. That's why I've got the Queen of Pentacles here. I then also have the seashell, the Instruo over here, which I have not got sound out of yet. I've only got as far as plugging it in. I've also got this weird, poking out there, look at that. Sort it out, mate. What are you doing? Oh, that's a bit, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I've got this on something. Ah, there we go. That's better. That's better. I've got this quad ADSR over here. Oh, look at that. I wonder what that means. But it's got some nice halos, some weird knobs, and gates and outputs. So it's 4 channels, I guess. Maybe each one of those is a thing. Does that mean it's upside down? Does it go from blue to red? What happens if I keep turning it? No idea. Anyway, so I have some things to try. That's kind of, I think that was more or less it. Oh yeah, no, I've got this thing here sitting here. The arpeggio. Might give that a go as well, if I can find somewhere to plug it in. So yeah, we can do that in a minute. Alright. You can make rich, nice bass lines out of tuned kicks. Well, I never. Fancy that, eh? Fancy that? You wish the EDP had made an educational sized wasp? The Eastern Daily Press doesn't do anything of the sort. It's the worst newspaper in the whole of Norfolk, and it's the only one, and their website is just an abomination. Don't ever go there. If you need to find out anything about Norfolk or Norwich, you know, don't go to the to the EDP website. It's a disaster. Absolute disaster. Anyway, that's by the by. I'm sure you're talking about something else. Be interesting if I explored the world. Oh, come on, go away. Thank you. If explored the world of guitar BBD delays, using them on synths, of course. I have, talking of BBD delays, that's a good point. I have an Erica Synths BBD delay in kit form that I need to build. Gertz tells me it's the finest BBD delay. I'm not going to say that very well. It's ever been put into kit form for me to build. So I need to do that. I've done stuff on delays in the past. I've done something on Carpeth Strong. I'm pretty sure back in the days when I was doing videos on things that people actually wanted to hear about, as opposed to reviewing any old rubbish that people send me, which is seems to me what I'm doing these days. So yeah, certainly I'm happy to look at some Bucket Brigade delays. I mean, I confess slightly that I quite like a clean delay. So I tend to gravitate towards digital delays on the whole, because whenever I encounter an analog delay, I tend to sort of get quickly disappointed because it loses its fidelity so quickly. So yeah, well, you know, we'll see. What? And what about Buck Rogers? Now, what I could do is a cover of the end credits of Buck Rogers. That guitar solo is amazing. I think that's just a fantastic piece of music. I used to love watching the end of Buck Rogers purely for the music and the stars falling on the camera. Do you know what I'm talking about? Ding, 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 ding. You know. Do I have the Erica Synths prototype board? I do. I have it right here. Pretty much everything is within arm's reach, to be fair. Now, looking into the kit, right? It's flipping scary. So I've not felt up for it yet. What is all this stuff? Oh, I think that's just the power supply with multiple plugs. So yeah, I have that. They've also sent me the scope as well to go with it, which is very, very cool. So yeah, I would like to do something with that. It's purely time is my enemy, as I've said many times. Every time I start a new month, like just after I've done the Molten monthly, I've usually got sort of 2 weeks before Sound on Sound start poking me for a new Studio One workshop, where I've got a big Studio One barrel outside, which is almost completely dry. So I have to go and stick my head in that and try my best to scrape some kind of idea up as to what on earth am I going to talk about this month for Studio One. But somehow I pull something out of the ether, something comes, and we have another Studio One workshop. You know, I've been doing it now for, what am I on? I'm on the 70th month or something. So that's a lot. That's a lot. Is that right? Or am I thinking of something else? No, I think I've done 70 Studio One workshops. Just phenomenal. It's getting harder until they release like an interesting update, which gives me something extra to talk about. It's pretty tricky. Yeah. No, that's the other thing I need to look at. Hang on. Where is it? Is that it? Oh, it's under a load of stuff. Hang on. This is the other thing I keep forgetting to talk about, which is the Bitwig Connect. Can you see that? They sent me this a couple of weeks ago, and they're desperate for me to do something on it because I think they want to give it to someone more important, and I'm currently holding up the queue. So let's have a quick look right now. I'm just going to get it out of its box so that I have it a little bit more in the way, which is going to mean I'm going to be a bit more likely to get something done. Good grief. That's a chunky, awesomely chunky thing. So this is an audio interface. Yes, Bitwig's first audio interface, although they did, seem to remember they did a collaboration audio interface with somebody else at one point. Or was that the Disting? Anyway, it doesn't matter. This, what's cool about this, and it is tremendously cool, and I am excited to do some videos on it, is that it has CV outputs. Now, why is that important? Because normally speaking, if you have a DC coupled audio interface, so one that can handle flat voltages, then there's no knowing the exact range of voltage that's going to cater for. And so when you want to use it with your modular, you have to do all sorts of calibration. You have to do oscillator calibration in order to try to tease out of it an octave or two of voltage per octave control in order to run a sequence. And that's a faff and a hassle, and you kind of have to keep redoing it because you're never quite sure whether it's working or not, and it's a pain. With this, the outputs on this, how many are there? Outputs 9, 10, 11 and 12, so 4 outputs are pre-configured. They know exactly how much voltage is coming out, and so you don't need to calibrate it. You can just plug it directly into your oscillator and off you go, which is awesome. So it has that built in. A couple of inputs as well, so you can route modulation from your modular into your DAW and modulation from your DAW out, assuming that your DAW can create things that you can send out, because that is a whole other game. So that's why this is special. But they've done a bloody good job of actually building an audio interface. Look at that. It's only got the one mic input, you know. It's enough, but only just. It does have a second instrument input, so you could go mic and guitar. So where are all the other inputs? Oh yeah, 3, 4, just at the front. Okay. Bunch of nice buttons. Continuously roundy thing. 412 they call it. So what, 4 inputs, 12 outputs. Okay. So yeah, cool. I plan this week, hopefully, to get stuck into that. So as I was saying, I've got a 2-week window in which I've got to finish a bunch of writing for Perfect Circuit, which will take me, I believe, 2 days. That's the plan, which means that leaves me 3 days this week to do videos. Right. Okay. So let's keep going on this train of thought. Where should I put this so I'll fall over it? Just right in the middle of the floor. Perfect. Perfect. Yes. So I have to do videos on Nobular Monumatic. Nobular Monumatic. In fact, have I written the review? All right. I don't remember. I think I have to write that one up for Sound on Sound as well. I've got the RYK MV machine here to do as well. Those two. Can you see me all right? Am I on? Oh yeah, I'm on that one. So let me come back round here to here. And I will come back. We'll come back to all these things. I promise. All right, we'll come back. So that's annoying in that case because I was showing you this and you weren't able to see all of it because I'm not seeing that. Okay, I'm just gonna put that up there again so you can see it a little bit better. Yeah, these inputs and outputs here. CV. Right. Okay. Pooh. Come on, keep it together. So yeah, video on the Monumatic, video on the Envy. I want to do a video on the Muzak Dig-Tac thing. The Bop and Steve is actually not here for a video, it's here for Sound on Sound, so it will be in things, but I won't be making a video about it until the Sound on Sound review is out, so that'll be sort of months on that probably. Sadly, I'm not reviewing the Seashell for Sound on Sound magazine. My mate Simon is. He got in there before me, which is a shame, so I am going to be doing a video on that pretty soon, I think, because that's definitely drawing me in as something to do. So I have a couple of weeks in which to produce as many videos as I can in that time. That's the plan. I also want to do some DIY. I really want to build the Bafako one-eye roll, whatever it's called. I call it the one-eye roll, plus the Axis modular delay, plus the Erica Synths BBD. I have other things too. I have a lot. And then once I've got through a bunch of those videos, I can then perhaps start on my special system design things, maybe, or maybe I'll do a video on the arpeggio. I don't know yet. I don't know. Too many options. Anyway, Monumatic is the best module ever, says Dots. Okay. I mean that's quite a bold claim, I have to say, because earlier I was pushing this around the place as the potentially best module ever, maybe, or maybe this pretty thing here. Can you see that? No, you cannot. Oh wow, never mind, Not to worry. So what time are we on? Oh, okay, we're not too far in, so it's all right. I'm not under pressure yet to actually produce something. So in terms of videos coming up, that is a plan. I have nothing that I'm working on right now, so I'm going to start. Like I say, I've got a couple of articles for Perfect Circuit to finish. I need to get those done first. Then I'll just have to pick something and go with it. But we could plug a few of these things in. I haven't got any sound out yet this evening, so that will be fun also. I do have a card all about the Dig-Tac, which is cool. I've got a little manual for the Bop and Steve. That's nice. I've got a... What's that? Ow, that's spiky. That... I don't know what to do with that now. No, I'm not going to do it. That can stay there for the minute. I've got a couple of lovely cards on the Seashell. So maybe a good thing to start to do... Do I have a sequencer? I have my Arps of Darkness. Maybe I could start off by plugging something into the Seashell and plugging it through the Bop and Steve just to see what happens. Maybe that's a good way forward. Maybe. Calling the police? What did I miss? Hey, you're welcome, Visions. Fair enough, Dots. I mean, I'm really liking the Voxhumana on there. I'm liking the Super Saws. They're kind of my vibe, I think. The organs are quite nice around the other side. Talking about the Monumatic. The thing that still troubles me is the lowness of the output. I find them to be... I'm having to put it through the assembler on boost in order to hear it. And I found that with the Polycinematic as well. They're just very quiet, and that's slightly annoying. I found it very difficult to pull the Polycinematic out, amongst other things. So I didn't have a suitable way of doing that on just using regular Eurorack mixers. So that's been my only sort of problem with it. Otherwise, yeah, no, it's great. And I mean, I'll say all of this in the review, of course, but I really like the way that they've differentiated between a monophonic and a polyphonic approach. I think that's absolutely key. What they didn't do with the Polycinematic, and I think it caused a bit of confusion as to what was going on. And so I think that's a really wise way forward. So, but I'll talk about that. I will talk about that. Yeah, right. Anyway. We don't know how to do it, but yours is loud. Is it? Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. That's not been my experience. But maybe there's a secret hidden level. There is under attack. Yeah, okay, well, maybe this is a new edition and I haven't got to that bit yet. All right. I've only sort of plugged things in and used it. I haven't got close into it yet. So, interesting. Okay, good. I'm glad about that. So let's see if we can get some sound out of the seashell. Just gonna got things by my knees. Flipping Keystep Pro. I thought I'd sold that, but no. Right, so let's go back to this look. Okay, so we're not so worried about this anymore. This flipping thing. Right, set on the TR on the RD8. Move this out of the way. This is going to come into frame. Blah da 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 da. I wonder if it has an output. What do you think? Probably has an output, doesn't it? So I'm going to start that running. I'm going to take. Give me a clock. Someone give me a clock that's not going to things. Those are all going to that. What's that going to there? I'm going to steal that one anyway. That's going to there. Doesn't want to go there. So I'm going to take that. So live patching, that's what you call this. Stick that into there, and then I'm going to assume why are we not getting any sound anyway? Surely you'll be getting sound out by now. What have I turned down? Oh, I know. Right, okay. This CV and gate. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to use the Erebus as like a starting point in order to make sure things are working. That seems to be... Oh, nice. Can you hear that alright? So I've got something happening. Then I want... take one of these out of there. That's slightly better. That's nice. Where'd that come from? I know what I need to do. Is that going? Oh, Frank, thanks, mate. Yeah, the cocaine absolutely is. Yeah, it's the same but backwards. It's like there's no kick, there's no kick. It's all kick. If it would be really nice if there was some kind of difference in that. You can hear the sea. No, you can't. This is the rebus I'm currently got going on. So I just wanted to make sure sound was happening. So just let me know that you can hear some sound. That's helpful. Yeah, no, it's not the seashell. This is the rebus. Okay, got you. I just love that little thing. Right, so let's have a look at the seashell then. Does it have a gate input, do you think? Probably does. It's probably going to be hidden away in the weirdness of it all. Alright, so there we go. It says pitch control, transposer, sync, macro knob, envelope, trigger envelope is probably quite a good idea. But then it's semi-modular, so it doesn't necessarily need anything. Doopy-doopy-doo. Alright, I'm not. But that will trigger the envelope by itself. Okay. So what I mean, I guess I'm going to need an output, aren't I? That would be good at this point. Source. Alright, stereo output. Are we going to have to use the back? Is that what we're going to have to use? Oh, it's just surprisingly heavy. Now there is a back. There's also MIDI. I've got a stereo there, but I don't have a stereo there. Oh, I just have to take one then, won't I? Let's just take one. Let's take channel 4 for funds. Plug that into there, see what happens. Oh, I've turned that all the way up. There you go, it's a seashell. Right, let's go with that. What happened to my gate? What did I do with that? It went there. I stuck that into the envelope. It does nothing. I'm not convinced that that's the same cable. No, that's the same cable. In which case, let's try this one. There we go. So that is the seashell. It's indented at 12 o'clock, which is just a little bit high for my sequencer. How do we get the wave folding to work, do we think? There we go. So according to the manual thing here, we have different sources, different waveforms we can send to the filter. The colouring's a little bit cryptic. I mean, you've kind of got like sort of pinky pink, sort of pink and pinky orange, and then some whitey pinky orangey bits. So at the moment I'm on flashing white, which I think is a sawtooth. So no wave folding going on with that. It should be square. Sounds like a square. Curious, very curious. Well, I have to say it's already winning over the No Coast, as many people have compared it to, for reasons I can't explain. But I mean, it would usually take me half an hour to get a sound out of the No Coast, and then it would be like a blip, and you'd just be going. I'm not cool enough to understand this synthesizer. Whereas this one, it seems to be doing things already. It is. Right, I've had an idea. No, it wasn't that idea, not quite. I need to give it some clock. Clock in. half learned how to use this. So that should be kicking out something. Let's go into that. It's been gated. Filter comes up. I've got no knowing whether anything's going through that. This is going to channel 6, 7 or 8. well, there you go. There you go. What time are we on? All right, doing okay. There we go. The seashell. That's all it does. Well, I don't imagine we've scratched the surface, really. I don't think. But hey, as a little synth, it does what you expect. It has 2 oscillators. I mean, I'm still trying to work out what this means. I think this could be first oscillator, second oscillator, that kind of thing. And so that has an effect as to what's going on. Otherwise, 2 oscillators, filter, envelope. I can handle those things. I know what I'm doing, to some degree. Wave folder sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. That's evidently going to be something to do with the source you've chosen, I imagine. So lots of things to discover in there. But yeah, what a cute, sweet little thing. Definitely making a noise that was interesting. I did see the FM business over here, some knobs that I've decided not to play with just yet. You also seem to have some individual outputs on waveforms. Interesting. That seems to be an output on the wave folder. Don't know what those two do. So yeah, and then I completely didn't put the Bop and Steve in. I should definitely do that. So let me take what is essentially the send and return on the reverb. That is not long enough. And get that wired in. Input, okay. Go with that. Are these going to be long enough? Output. So if I put something else into this one, something like that, set that going. Trying to use this thing here, Bop and Steve, of which I've not plugged in at all. All right, interesting. So there we go. That's continuing to rumble. That's a little bit of the Bop and Steve as well. Yeah, starting to work that out, I think, slowly but surely. Good, nice. So what do you think? Any of that of interest, do we think? I got a little bit of everything in there. I got the Dick Tac in. I got the Bop and Steve. I got the Seashell. Got the Monumatic. I haven't got Jack's envelopes in yet. But I'm terrible with envelopes. I never know what to do with them, really. So, not so yeah, not getting to that one just yet. Or the arpeggio. Probably not this evening, because I'm already feeling a little bit like, oh yeah, that was plenty. So I'm going to open another beer and then see what horrors that takes us to. Oop. What's the yellow blue module? That is the Bop and Steve. I know it's a weird name. It's a deconstructed reverb. It's like taking all the parts of a reverb and pulling them out so you can mess with them individually. It's from This Is Not Rocket Science. It's if I remember rightly, it sort of comes from the White Rabbit they did with their instruments, and it's just taking that idea and ballooning it out into something quite beautiful. I've got a manual here, look. No, I don't have the manual anymore. That's very sad. Something from Qubit. No, I don't have anything from Qubit at the moment. Well, I mean, I do, but nothing. Yeah, I like the Erebus too. Oh, I wish that wouldn't do that. Some things are really good with touchscreens, some things are not. Long Way Home. Yeah, you're watching it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, we are watching at the moment Long Way Down, in between our hits of Long Way Home. It's really interesting seeing them back in the day and how different they are now, how it's a different trip. It feels, what was it? I mean, it feels like the Long Way Home is all about the cinematic passing of drones as they ride, and also weirdly cut in with Insta360 bits that just make them look odd on a motorcycle. I'm not convinced that was ever a good idea. I mean, it's a good concept, and I have used it quite a bit, but it ultimately makes you look silly, so you kind of feel you have to lean into the silliness rather, I find. Whereas back in when they were going through Africa, I mean, the film quality was atrocious. They were messing it up all the time, falling off and crashing into things. And the whole thing was far more chaotic. Whereas the little trip through Europe feels like a couple of old gents just doing a holiday program. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of lost that danger. I think they gave us a cliffhanger when Charlie fell off his bike because he didn't. He just got onto it and then overbalanced, and that was as exciting as it got. But hey, I mean, heck, if you're a couple of geezers who get given motorcycles to ride around the place, then you would, wouldn't you? You would do that. You would do that. Oh, it's based on the Phoenix reverb algorithm, is it? No, not at all. It's definitely based on the White Rabbit. Nothing to do with the Phoenix whatsoever. Absolutely. Hey, Andy. Yeah, he just fell off. I'm not sure how funny that was, though. Yeah, well, hey, let's see what we could do. One of my favourite utility mixers, I would have to say the Molten Music Motion Meter. I would say it's probably my favourite utility mixer. I use it for all the things all the time. In fact, what lot are we on at the moment? Okay, sorry. I keep forgetting to change my thing. It's right there. It's glowing purples because at the moment it's doing modulation. But it's very useful for mixing too. I've used it plenty for mixing 3 channels of a drum strip and things like that. It just works. It's nice. It gives you a good readout. It's great. That's about the only mixers I've got knocking around now, because I have offloaded a lot of my mixing into the assembler now, so I don't feel the need quite to have utility mixers knocking around. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah. I mean, Jason, the 360 thing, I mean, the advantage is that you don't have to decide on the shot. You decide on it later. But whenever I'm doing that, it just adds a load of extra work. Because you're going to have whatever shot you like, all of which are, not too bad, as opposed to actually getting something that's really good. So, yeah, it's been useful. It's definitely good for walking through a show where you just can't be bothered, or you don't want to point cameras at somebody. You just want to get a sense of the place and worry about it afterwards. It's really good for that. But yeah. Got a question? 4 monosynths. Yeah. What kind of mixer do I need to play all together without a PC program? You are 63. I mean, well, any mixer, anything that has at least 4 inputs. It doesn't have to be mysterious. I mean, if you're looking for a Behringer mixer, you'll end up with a big chunky thing like this. A big chunky mixer. Is that what you need, do you think? I wouldn't necessarily say so. I mean, the Behringer Onyx mixers, I have one, I use it for gigging, and they're completely fine. But you've got a big desktop mixer then that you're having to accommodate, and you're just routing a couple of monosynths through, so you can pan them maybe. Are you going to be using that EQ and all those other bits and pieces all over it? The mic preamps and the this, that, and the other? I don't know. But I mean, any mixer, a DJ mixer would do. If you've got a DJ mixer of 4 inputs, you could use that because you appear to be a cosmic DJ. Maybe that's useful to you. Otherwise, if you're looking for something which is just going to simply do it, then the assembler, Create Audio Assembler, which I've got here, this thing with the lights on, It is 10 channels, up to 10 channels. So your 4 mono channels beginning, absolutely. 4 things in there. You can pan them. You can route out to effects if you've got any effects. And it's this size. Can you see it? I think you can see it. This is the size of it entirely. I've got it set up on a little stand. It's all on mini jacks. It works. It's great. Something like that I would recommend. I find mixers tend to be completely baffling. You've got this huge thing and it takes you half an hour just to work out what's going on before you actually get to plug anything in. And I've worked in music shops where everyone is a flipping sound engineer, and at the Christmas party no one can get the mixer to work. No one. They are just pains in the arse. They really are. Anyway, so yeah, any mixer would do, mate. They don't have to have anything special at all. Any mixer will accommodate a mono synth without any bother. My advice is to get something straightforward and simple. This is assuming you don't want to plug in microphones or guitar. If you want mics and guitars and, drum kits and stuff like that going through it, as in acoustic drum kits, then you'll need something with mic preamps, and that's a whole different ball game. In which case a Behringer Onyx mixer would do the job if that's what you're into. Absolutely. Is that helpful? The most important thing is that really don't worry. Don't worry. It's not a what's am I trying to say? You can't get it far wrong if you buy a mixer. It will have the inputs that you need. But if you want to keep things simple, check out Cree8 Audio. That's CRE8audio.com. I'm going to flip in, type it in, right? Cree8audio.com. And their assembler mixer, it's nice and new. It's very simple. Sit on your desktop with your little synths. It'll be great. Use that. Is the assembler only for synths? Not necessarily, but it doesn't have mic preamps, if that's your question. So assuming you have line level stuff or Eurorack level stuff, it's grand. But no, it doesn't have high Z inputs for guitars. It doesn't have microphone inputs. Oh yeah, little micro mixers. Were they always Behringer? They were MIDI man, weren't they? Originally? Those sorts of things. Do I still like the Amatech drum machine? Yeah. I mean, if you rewind to earlier in the thing, I talked about it quite a bit, funnily enough, about having to get my head around the idea that it has absolutely no functions whatsoever. And that was okay, Whatever became of the Descartes Dream, it's right there. It's right there. It mocks me every day. Come in here and it mocks me and makes me feel bad most of the time. And it's something which I fully intend to have a look at again. It's just because I wasn't able to quite finish it, but it was finished enough to enjoy for a bit. But I really do need to just finish it off, and I flipping will do. It's just not a high priority. I have, unfortunately, other priorities, and so it kind of gets left out, which is a shame. I should get to that, and I feel sore about it. But I've thoroughly enjoyed the whole process, absolutely. So it's been worthwhile. The Big Six that's that's the Big Six. I use it all the time. I mean, I don't use it to the degree that perhaps one should. Literally most of the time I just have the stereo output from my modular running through it, which is then hardwired across the roof of my shed into my audio interface over there by my main computer. That's what it's there for. It's underused, absolutely. In fact, I've now used the assembler a lot more because it's just simpler. because to plug something into the Big Six, I've got to get behind it, and that's an absolute pain in the ass. Now, of course, I could get a patch bay. I have a patch bay, but I can never remember what each patch bay is patched into. So that's never a help, and that just means you've got another great big piece of 19-inch rack gear knocking around the place, getting in the way. So the Big Six really should probably go in its box somewhere, simply because I'm not using it, and it's probably going to end up getting damaged. I mean, occasionally when I do demos on that side of the workbench, if I plug in a synth or something over there, then I can plug directly into it, and that's very, very handy. Also, if I was to ever turn on the reel-to-reel again, which I do really hope to, that is also routed through the Big Six. So I plan to do all of those things. Again, it's just, you know, years and months roll by without me actually achieving those ideas and things that I would like to do. But as a mixer, I found it to be, you know, superb. But I'm no mixer connoisseur, should I say, and I don't have a room for it. I mean, somebody cheekily asked me what studio monitors that I listen to all my stuff through when I'm doing my reviews, and I have some crap studio monitors. Does that colour my experience of reviewing it, which made me think for a little bit? And quite possibly, but everything is the same. So I'm comparing everything through the same pair of speakers I've had for 20 years. 25 years. So, you know, I'm used to them, and I'm not really, when I'm reviewing something, I'm not necessarily looking for pristine audio quality. That's not really the thing that interests me about a product. The sound interests me, yes, but not the quality, if that makes sense. I'm just looking for something which is exciting, and I'm more interested in what it does as opposed to just what it sounds like. I don't know whether that's good or not. Do I worry about it? Humidity in the shed, do I worry about it? I used to, because I used to get a lot more of it. So I used to have a dehumidifier, which I was running, and then a big fan. But I cut holes in the shed, holes along here. And that really helped. Because, you know, you tend to think the first thing you try to do is make everything almost completely airtight, which is just not of any use. So I cut holes in things. That was helpful. I put stuff in the ceiling. That was helpful. So I don't really have problems with it so much anymore. I mean, I'm under no illusions. The shed it's dusty and spiderwebby, and I imagine there are circuits around here that are slowly rusting away. But this is my environment. I don't imagine I'm gonna be working here for another 30 years. I don't know. So I don't worry about it in as much as I try not to think about those sorts of things. You know, I try just to get on with what I'm doing. You can spend a lifetime trying to make everything fit right and sound right and get cabled right. And that may be your thing, but my thing is smashing stuff together and kind of seeing what happens. And then I dream about the idea of being organised and actually putting on something properly, or learning to play something properly, or producing a piece of music properly. I dream of those things. Those are my aspirations, but my reality is far more chaos than anything else. But I seem to thrive in that situation. Masking tape? What are you talking about? DJ Cosmic Trancer says, till now I play only with 1800 vinyls, or 1800 individual records, do you mean? Or are they vinyls from the 1800s? Yeah. Well, I mean, your 4-channel mixer will work with the right cables and adapters. You should get sound through that. Otherwise, as I say, the assembler is great. Sorry, I'm going to go around in circles again. But any mixer, micro mixer, little mixer, DJ mixer, any mixer which has the inputs that you need will mix sound together. That's definitely the point. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, about 20 minutes left. I want to be finished before 10 if I can. The other thing we wanted to talk about was the radio show. Oh, I meant to have some things together. Just time runs away. It's impossible. I've been talking about doing this radio show for the last couple of months now. And it's ridiculous because all it takes for me to do is to hit live stream and do it. That's all it takes. And I can't find the time. Right. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I will try to do this week, in this week that I have in which to do things, is to put together a little form that people can fill out in order to send me their tracks that I can then fold into the radio show. That's going to be something I'll do this week. I will also attempt to just try it out. Just trying to think, is there because I'm trying to avoid making it complicated. So if one imagines, I don't know how many people out there are experienced radio disc jockeys or content makers or whatever, because currently what I do is I run everything, my cameras and microphones, everything goes through vMix on my main computer over there. And it's there that essentially composites, or possibly does, brings all of these things together to allow me to send it out to a single destination, which is YouTube. So that's what allows me to switch between cameras, and everything else is done via vMix. Now you can load up audio files and videos and play them in vMix, but it's actually not very good at that, and it's a hassle. And when I'm doing this radio show, I would like it to be as simple from my point of view as humanly possible. So I don't want to be in the shed. I don't want it to be complex. I don't want to have to use difficult bits of equipment. I just want to sit in the house, letting the dog go out for a wee, with my Surface and a microphone, using the camera on the Surface and a mic, and just to be able to announce the next track, put the next track on and let it play. That is really it. I'd love there to be some kind of visualization to that. So I'm thinking perhaps I should load the songs up in Winamp, because that, the milk drop in Winamp is one of the finest visualizations that's ever been made ever, I feel. And it's simple. Maybe I can do it that way around. But on the other hand, if somebody sends me a video, then what do I do? Do I just shuffle around in Windows, and all of this is going to be captured presumably in something like OBS, because that's free and funky? Is that the way to do it? Like I say, I'm going to test these things out. Maybe there's a simpler... I don't want to have to spend money on software particularly. If I can help it, if I can just do it, queue up a few things, talk, microphone, mute the microphone, play the track. Video or audio. That's the plan. So the plan for this radio show, in case you're don't sure what I'm talking about, I was just thought, hey, why don't we listen to some music together? Why don't we play electronic music and try to support people who are making their music? And so that's the plan. It'd just be like for an hour or so on a Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. I'll just go live, play a few tunes, supply the links and tell people who they were, and that would be nice. It'd be nice to have a beer. More beers, please. The only difficulty I've come across is the difficulty with copyright in streaming this sort of thing on YouTube. But my plan is, or the idea is, to get around that. Now, I know I should say that somebody, his name I forget now, I think it was called Ian, sent me his phone number to talk to him about Content ID on YouTube, because he knows all about it, and I intend to do that at some point soon. I just have not got around to it, and I've probably lost your number already. But anyway, I will endeavour to do that. But what I mean is that if your music is already on YouTube, it will have a Content ID, and which will mean that if I try to play it, it will mess everything up, and I'll get potentially copyright strikes and all sorts of shenanigans going on. I want to avoid that, desperately want to avoid any of that kind of nonsense. So the idea will be that you have to send me, if you want your music on the show, you send me an unreleased track, something which is not on Spotify or anything else. It could be a practice track, it could be a demo track, it could be a forthcoming release, who knows. It could be a jam that you've just done. Anything that you'd like to throw out there, just as long as it's not already on YouTube. And hopefully we'll just be able to play them and listen to them without having any of the trouble from copyright. I mean, of course, you should get paid for your music and all those sorts of things. Absolutely, thoroughly, completely into that. But that's not what I can do. I can't do that. The idea of the show is to just potentially get you out to my audience. That's the only intention, is to be able to listen to interesting electronic music together. That would be it. That's it. So I'm going to endeavour to try to tap into that this week, perhaps, if I can, just to get that ball rolling, get that link out there. And then you can send me your stuff if that's interesting to you, and we'll give it a go. Butter Churn is Milk Drop as a website. Okay. Interesting. Butter Churn. Butter Churn. Oh, look, there's a Kilner butter churner making set. Butter churn visualizer, look at that. Ooh, music visualizer. You just press play. How does it work? This is not going to be very interesting for you. It's probably going to make my computer crash. Yeah, well, nothing happens. Okay, I'll probably need to look at that a little bit deeper, I imagine. Probably install an extension. Right, gotcha. Sorry, excuse me. What's going on? Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that is the idea. The plan is, as Icing the Body Electrics is saying, the plan absolutely is, I'm not going to try to be clever or chatty or anything. Literally want to announce the track. I mean, maybe mention something about it, because I'm going to ask you to send in a track and fill in a form which will give me your details, and potentially you can explain something about the track or tell us something about it, what gear was used, whatever you like. And I may use some of that. And I was thinking about this the other day, is that I really like the DJ on radio to announce it before and after. Because often you come into something halfway through, you go, well, this is really interesting. I wonder who is it by? And they are then talking about what they had for breakfast straight away afterwards without telling you who the artist was. I find that very, very frustrating. So my plan will definitely be to announce a track, play the track, then say that was this by this, and then here's the next one. That's the plan. It's not this. It's not going to be this. It's just going to be me sitting there, because I would like to listen too. That's the plan. Very much that's the plan. Yeah, you may have to record some new material. Yes, that's right. Because I don't see any other way it can work. Because, I mean, sure, people can take... It's like... Because I don't want to put adverts on the stream. I don't want the stream to have adverts. I want it not to be monetized. And if I use copyright material, then at best, YouTube will put adverts on it so that other person can take the revenue, which is fine. Again, I'm saying you should get revenue from your music. Absolutely. But that makes doing what I'd like to do very difficult. And I just want it to be easy. I'd like to be able to support people who are making music, and to do that without having to go through all the hoops and all the nightmare of PRS or Content ID or any of that sort of nonsense. And maybe I'm naive, or maybe I'm doing something stupid, or I'm robbing musicians of their music and trying to use it for my own gain. I don't know. Any of those could be true. But ultimately, I just want to listen to and play some music in the hope that will be useful to people, and also in the hope that I will gain subscribers and viewers through doing that. I'm not trying to monetize the those radio shows, because I think we've got enough adverts in our lives. Let's have it advert free, and that will reduce the possibility of copyright issues anyway, and just go with it like that. So it just works. That's the plan. It's a beautiful plan. But yes, don't send me your best tracks. Send me your dodgy ones, you didn't think you were going to release. Stuff like that. Anything you like. It's not as simple as that, Wagyu. It's just not. When you've got multiple owners, it just gets complicated. And I don't wish to have, as I said, I don't wish to have adverts on the thing, and I don't want to risk copyright strikes either. Because if I, because there's talk about you get 3 strikes and then you get your site, you get your YouTube channel banned or restricted or whatever. So I could release a show, live stream a show that has 10 tracks on it, say, and 6 of them give me copyright strikes. The YouTube channel is over. So it's not something I'm prepared to risk in the slightest, even if that's really, really, really unlikely. It's just, it becomes ridiculous. So we're just trying to circumvent that altogether. Yeah, that's the plan. This is pirate radio, man. This is what this is all about. Have I tried beetle crabs tempura? No, do you get that from the Chinese takeaway? I actually have no idea what you're talking about, I'm afraid. Well, I mean, with respect, Wagyu, I don't know. I mean, I get strikes from DivKid's videos. DivKid is not a huge YouTube star or anything, but if I include a clip from one of DivKid's videos in my videos, I get flipping warnings about it. So, whether you're small or large, I don't think that makes a difference. It's not worth it. It's not worth the hassle. Put a time limit up, sure, yeah. Well, TH Wath, you make an interesting you make an interesting point that if you release it after, I've done it. Sorry, just checking the time. Would you then get a copyright strike? It's a good question. Does that mean the whole thing is a complete waste of time? Should I just pack it in and forget about it because it's just too difficult? See, I don't think, if I'm not monetizing, honestly, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Truthfully, don't know the answer to that. Is there anyone you could ask? I don't know. I mean, they're not strikes, yes. Wagyu, you're right. They are claims, but I don't know what it is that gets you a strike instead of a claim. At what point does that happen? I don't know is the answer to that question from me. Strikes are rare. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I could use a different platform, but then I'll just be sort of pissing into the air, I could live stream on as a podcast, are even more tricky, I think. Yeah. I mean, the best way to avoid it is just to put some records on and listen to them myself. I mean, that's the best way to do it, to avoid any trouble, but that's not going to be very useful to anyone. I don't know. Seems like a simple, nice idea. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's that sense of unknowing that ends up just means you don't do a thing, you know. Wagyu, have you ever edited out a bit from a stream? Have you ever edited something out? Because I have. I've attempted to do that, and sometimes you lose all the audio, sometimes you lose complete sync between audio and video. It's a complete disaster. I appreciate your your encouragement and stuff, in that I just play stuff and the claims go to other places. That's fine. If I trusted that system, then, but I don't, because it's so murky. There's so few people have actually any information on whether that really works or not, or what it is that causes a copyright strike or what doesn't. So the only thing that I can think of is to avoid that entirely, you know. It just seems like a minefield. And I don't want, while I'd like to do this, I don't wish to risk my channel, which has taken me, 10 years of hard graft to build this channel. And the last thing I want to do is suddenly risk it on a whim of playing somebody's track, you know? I mean, I get copyrights. I get not strikes. I understand, not strikes. I get claims when I do my Molten monthlies. You know, I've had to navigate a number of claims. But at least that's not live, so I have the opportunity that when it comes back saying, nah, you're going to lose all of your revenue to this guy, I can go back and edit that bit out. You know, edit it offline, re-upload the video, not edit it in YouTube. With a live stream, you would be hampered to do that. Okay. Wagyu, yeah, fair enough. Information is king, ultimately. Does it really make any difference, says Jeff? Yeah, I mean, it's purely my own paranoia in that I just don't... It's because YouTube and Google is too difficult to navigate. I'm not prepared to just try it out and risk it. It's too risky. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Anyway, we better knock it on the head. No, well, this is it. As I say, I can't. Cheers, Jason. I'll be shutting down shortly, mate. And I'll send them all to you. I can't... what am I saying? I can't just try it out and risk it, you know? Oh, I don't know. Can I? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't trust it. A playlist on what? Thanks, MM7 Wop. Thanks for your time. Contact YouTube. Okay, thank you. Yes. Second channel? Yeah. But, I want to use the reach. Playlist on YouTube. But that assumes that these tracks are on YouTube already. And then I'm still... I don't know what you mean, mate. So we can all play our own music. Yeah. That's not... I don't quite get it. Yeah, no, I appreciate that other people do this. See, the thing is, if I wasn't monetized, if my channel wasn't monetized, then it wouldn't be a bother because it wouldn't really matter because I'm not attempting to do anything, and um, you would have no, you kind of have no knowledge of what was going on in that regard, you know, because YouTube just takes care of it. But because I have in our little world, a relatively large channel, it's a lot to lose. It's a lot to lose. So I want to do it. Yeah, yeah, no, you still get, yeah, yeah, no, I appreciate that you still get claims and stuff. But my point is that people doing it perhaps don't have that much to lose, or maybe that's the only thing that they do. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, you've got more eggs in your basket. Yes. But also, I don't know. All of this is based on paranoia and assumptions and the information I've gathered so far. You know, that my experience of YouTube is that it's not very forgiving, and if there's a problem, you've usually sweated hours over, days over making a video, and then you have a problem. I'm just trying to avoid all eventualities of an issue. I'm actually I have no problem with the owner of the track getting the royalties from the thing. Yes, that's how it should. That's really how it should work. I'm just more concerned about that going further, because my experience of claims is that some of them are far more ferocious than others. Some come with all sorts of warnings and difficulties. Some come with, oh, would you mind just not doing that? And others are like, would you mind just mentioning us, or something along those sorts of lines. It varies, and so I don't want to hit on something which is a problem. And a lot of people don't own their own stuff. They might be released through something else, so they send me a track that happens to be attached to a record company's algorithm, which does horrible things to you, and it might not even be their fault. It's like like with DivKiz videos again, it doesn't appear to be anything to do with him. It's to do with something or other that he's perhaps signed up to or uploads through, or it's some protection that he's enabled, which is great, and so he should, don't know. I'm just trying to do it in a way that works, and maybe I'm desperately overthinking it. Maybe tricky, in it. But again, it's like, who do you ask? Because so somebody suggested asking YouTube, and that's not really a real thing. Asking YouTube a question, maybe it's all too much like hard work. I mean, evidently, because I haven't done it and I've been talking about it for about 3 months, is evidently because it's too much like hard work, so my brain just benches it to the side. Yeah, when we're setting up a new channel, yes, but then I don't have the subscribers to that channel. I'm trying to leverage my subscriber base, Ask Ian. Yes, I will. I will do that. I will do that. Yeah, visions. Honestly, that's how I kicked this off. That's what I said I was going to do. That was the plan. But then somebody else asked, wouldn't that mean that the copyright would suddenly become mine when they tried to release their own track? And that is murky waters. Yeah, absolutely. Ask Google AI. Yeah. Yeah, it's just... yeah, Jeff, yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's all helpful. I do appreciate people throwing up ideas, because I certainly haven't gotten to the bottom of this, and would like to, and I do sometimes end up in a bit of a spiral about it, and it just means that, as I say, because it gets too difficult to think about, I then just don't and move on and do other things. Svid, whatever your name is, I just don't see how making a playlist becomes a shared musical experience. Do you know what I mean? Who would I send this playlist to? Do a live stream where I say, click on the link in the description to go to a playlist we're going to listen to, and then the rest of the music, the rest of the live stream is blank. I just don't quite understand how that works. I'm sure that in your head there's an idea in there somewhere. It's just that I'm not grasping it at the moment. Second channel as a trial. Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Wagyu. Yes. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you're right. Share it in my MySpace page. That's exactly right. Anyway, I'm distracting you all from Jason Jervis, who's jamming in his gym jams over on his channel now, and I need to go off and sort the dog out and such like. It's been nice chatting. Thanks. It was fun playing with the thingy. So that's good now. I've sort of cracked it open so I can start thinking about doing a video on it amongst the other 50 things I've got to do a video on. That's super. That's super. The reverb, that's going to be, how are we going to review that? That's going to be interesting. So yes, anyway. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you spending some time with me and talking about these things. Who knows? Well, I'll go with that. I will try to make inquiries if I can get my mind around it. I have had claims against myself. Yes, this is a reality that, and I couldn't work out a way to give myself permission within the ecosystem of YouTube, you know. So it just, I don't know. Yes. Anyway, good. Right. Thanks. Oh, super. So, lots of videos coming up, as I say, and all sorts of things, all sorts of bits and pieces that I'll talk to you about. Yeah, I'll just get on with it. I think I'll just get on with it. See, I'm in my head. My head's now decided that it's too much hassle. Wow, which is a shame. It's a nice idea, but yeah, as you say, it's maybe a second channel. I don't know. I don't know what impact it has on. Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. It's the not knowing is the difficulty. Well, anyway, there we go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for spending time and all that. I've said that 15 times now. I just need to clear off and go and do something else. So, cool. Nice. Take it easy out there. Be nice to each other. Make some music. Would be great. And I'll see you all again soon. Thank you. If I can find the right button to press. That's not it. How about this one? That one? No, that's nothing. Okay. Can I do better than that? Hey, there we go. Let's go with that one. Maybe a second channel is the way. Cheers, take it easy.